Hey there everyone, thanks for checking out this set extension tutorial series. I've got a few videos here and we're going to go through adding in some set extensions, some matte painted pieces to create some background set things in a shot. And this is the kind of thing that professional compositors do almost daily, where they get elements from a matte painting department or a matte painter, and they use their compositing software to put it in the correct spot. Sometimes the matte painting department will even give you a camera and geometry where everything's laid out already, so you kind of don't have to set that up even. You can just get right to the compositing. But today we're going to take a look at that process entirely. We're going to track the scene. We're going to use zero weighted tracks to help us visualize the set and rebuild the landscape, and then we're going to throw in some matte painted pieces and composite them. So let's go ahead and jump right into the tracking. First, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the motion tracker, and I'm going to bring in our footage, which is right here, Canyon Set Extend 1. It's just a JPEG sequence. Bring that in, and you can see it right here. I'm going to hit set scene frames and prefetch. Is it really 250 frames, huh? Looks like it. Nice. So yeah, you can see. If I just let this play through, our actress is walking along a path. She comes to a stop while she's overlooking the amazing scene before her, or her destination. Maybe it's not that amazing, but at least it's her destination. And an example of this kind of thing would be that I actually shot this footage with an actress in a park. And a park is not going to let you build sets and things like that. They might in some places, they might not in other places, but they're going to have some strict rules that if you're shooting something, you're going to have to get around. And that's where we're going to add in like a hut here on this hillside, a bridge, and those are kinds of things that the interior of the hut you could shoot on a soundstage or build a set anywhere in your backyard and kind of do it. But for that establishing shot, obviously they're not going to let us build a hut up here, so that's where visual effects comes in. So let's get busy tracking. If you've tracked before, and hopefully you have, you'll know that to reconstruct the scene, you need a minimum of 8 tracks through the whole shot. And I think we're going to do a whole lot more than that, but for now, we're just going to focus on some things. We're going to do a little bit at a time and see how we can do. I'm going to track some foreground things here first. There's some stuff down here that I kind of like. Drop a tracker right there, and I like to hit L and kind of center it, and hit. I'm starting at the end because that the feature I'm tracking is closest to camera at the end of the shot. So I'm going to use Control-Shift-T to track backwards, and wherever it loses it, I go back. I hit G, Enter, and continue tracking backwards, and go back one. G, Enter, continue tracking back. Whew, come on, baby, let's do this. G, Enter, Control, Shift. One more, let's go. G, Enter, and Control, Shift, T to the end. Right on. So there we go. Looks great. Now what I could have done to alter that, to change that, is turn on Normalize for all future trackers. And the match, it's always going to look for that keyframe, right? That initial, wherever, like in that instance, I just kept hitting G and Enter to kind of reset a keyframe for what the pattern was going to match to. What I can also do is set to previous frame, which will always look for the frame. It will always update on every frame. So I locked that tracker with Control L, and I'm going to go ahead and add in a new one right there. And this new one now, because I've set the previous frame and I've set Normalize will balance out any color changes. And there's not too much here, but I usually leave it on anyway. So I'm going to go ahead again and hit Control-Shift-T, track backwards, makes it through the whole thing without stopping one time, and that is exactly what we want. Let's double check it. Looks great, and lock it. Control L, and let's see what else down there can we track. We can probably track this little guy right here, this little rock. And you can see if you look at our track information that we've got so far, we've got some nice curves, and we've started seeing some keyframes here for our individual tracks, which you can see there. And it's red, right? This background, when we started and there was no track, it was kind of gray like everything else. Now it's red, and what that red is telling you, that now that you've begun tracking, that red is saying you don't have enough to solve yet. So the goal is to make this red go away, and you'll see first it turns yellow, which means we're getting close. We could probably solve, might not be the best, but we're getting close. And then eventually it will go away, and we can go ahead and solve. So I've got that thing picked out. Control Shift T, backwards again, all the way to the beginning. Looks great, I bet. Yep, looks great. Control L, lock it up. I'm going to hit L now and go back to here. I'm going to take another look there and see if there's anything else I can track there. Yeah, I think so. I think this dark patch here kind of stays in. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a tracker there, and L, and I'm going to scale that one up a little bit just for the heck of it, just to make sure. And Control Shift T, backwards. Takes a little longer because I made it a little bit bigger. And by making it bigger, it also made the search area bigger. So it's going to slow it down a tiny bit, but still moves pretty good, pretty quick, and it looks great. I'm going to go ahead and lock that one as well. So we may have enough here for this pathway. What I'm going to do, this rock right here, it gets obscured by her arm a few times, but kind of about halfway through here, it stops being obscured. So I'm going to go ahead and put a tracker on it right there where it stops being obscured, and scale it up a tiny bit. And I'm going to track backwards from there, just because it wouldn't hurt to have something else there on the path. That looks great. I'm also going to track this thing here, right? As long as it's not obscured when it comes in, looks great. And so what's going to happen is, even though these few tracks are not running the full length of the shot, once we solve the scene, there will be tracking points in space, in 3D space, that show us where this is. So I'm kind of thinking of these as sort of like helping me get the layout of this set. So that's what's going on there. That's why I'm tracking these things that aren't running the whole way through. Kind of center that guy up and track backwards, and it looks great. And Control L. Pretty much don't even need to check that one, but I will anyway. And let's get something on this side of the path, okay? Just for the heck of it. And I think that little spot looks pretty good. It's there for about a third of the shot. There's not really much else. There's another little dot in there we could track, I guess. But let's get that thing first, this guy. And track backwards. Should track no problem. Looks great until it runs off screen. I'm going to lock that. And let's also get something back here like that thing there. Let's see, where does that thing disappear? Or maybe that thing in the middle of the road might stick around a bit longer. That thing right there. Yeah, let's do that one. And I'm going to lock that. And should we try for another thing? Let's see what else sticks around. Let's get this one here too. Just for the heck of it, and go forward on that one. And we just got a little stretch here. But hopefully it's enough. Hopefully that'll be enough that when we solve, that thing will show up as a nice point. So we have things on both sides of this path, and we can kind of use that to figure out the layout of the path. Speaking of that, let's do one more. Let's do something else a little bit further back here. What do you say? Like maybe there. See that thing there? This little weird thing? That's what I'm going for. I'm going to grab that one, and we're going to track that backwards. There we go. So now we've also kind of got something halfway down the path, so we can kind of see where that path is going. So, this will all make sense once we've solved, and you can see all these points in 3D space. This will make a bit more sense what I was doing here, kind of laying things out a little bit. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to this mountain over here. This should be pretty straightforward. All right, just grab a few points on there. I'm actually going to grab, I'm going to turn off normalize. Maybe that'll speed it up a little bit. And I'm just going to grab a few spots of some good looking things that hopefully will track nicely. And I'm trying to get a nice, kind of like a varied area over this mountain here. Kind of want a few different positions. I'm going to try and cover as much of this as I can. All right, so let's try that number first. So I'm going to select them all, and since these are all locked, they won't retrack. And I'm going to track backwards again with Control-Shift-T. Goes pretty fast. That one got shut off because she got in the way. Not a problem. Everything else looks pretty good. So let's Control-L on those, and let's go back to this one and Alt-L, and that will. Oh, sorry. Is it Alt-L? Yeah. Yeah, it's unlocked. I'm just not on the right frame. So Alt-L will unlock them. So I'm not thrilled with that one. So let's go ahead and delete that one. And let's do something right up here, right? Because this, a little bit higher up the mountain, her head will not come in contact with it. So if we go right there, scale that up a bit, Control-Shift-T, backwards, looks great. Right, if we lock that down, looks great. Control-L, and we can check one of these while you've got locked turned on. And you can make sure they're all looking great, and they sure are. And I'm also going to grab something down here, because I know we're going to be putting a bridge in across this little valley. So let's get something, let's get a few things down here just to make sure we've got some good markers where that bridge is going to go. There's one, Control-L, and let's go this way again, and we'll do a few more there, like this, and maybe this. Select all of them, track backwards, looks great, lock it up, and maybe let's get something up there near the top of the mountain, right? So here at the end you can see there's this dark shadow here, that looks pretty good. I think we'll go for that. And this being near the edge of the frame will also help with, hopefully with calculating the lens distortion. I shot this on my tiny little handheld camera, so there probably is going to be some drastic lens distortion in here somewhere. And I'm going to grab this one over here, again something near the edge, tracking backwards. Have I tracked forward at all on this shot? I don't think I have. Let's lock that one up. All right, and I'm going to grab a couple things on the this silhouette here of the edge of the mountain. Grab that, grab that, grab that. All right, select all them, backwards again. Looks great. Lock them up, and we can also check all those tracks in here. You can see everything looks pretty good. Everything's still kind of on the right path. There's a few kind of strays that look a little bit crazy, but we'll leave them for now. And you can see that our shot is now all gray up here, our tracking keyframes. So we probably have enough to solve, but just to make things a little bit better, I would like to get a few things back here as well. I'm going to grab a few things on this mountain. I'm going to turn on L again. Oh, not yet, actually. I'm going to drop a keyframe right there. And I'm going to hit L there and Control forward, Control T to go forward. Stops right there. I'm going to get rid of, if I'm looking right here, you can see that last frame, it kind of jumps a little bit. So I'm going to go back one frame, clear forward to get rid of that bad frame, and then just lock it right there. So there's not a whole lot back there to track. Looks like we can track maybe this thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Looks great. Lock it. And maybe this thing up here on the mountain. Track backwards. Huh, did that do it? No, that kind of jumped. See that? Yeah, that jumped. So let's get rid of that one. X, delete. Let's see here. Grab that guy just so we can study what else in that area we can track. Oh, there's definitely some other things, right? There's like, let's just track this stuff here. And track backwards. Looks great. Lock that up. And So we've got some time before her head kind of cuts off. Her hair goes through right here, but maybe if we do something like this, maybe the hair won't disrupt it too much. Control T to track forward, and something went a little awry. All right there. Right, kind of lose it for a second. So I'm gonna go. I'm watching this little close-up window, and wherever it starts getting really messy, right there, that's where I'm gonna clear forward and lock that. Control L, and I'm just gonna go forward a little bit more, and I'm gonna drop in another tracker, kind of right there, and kind of pick it right back up to the end. Looks great. And if you want, you could join those two trackers. I'm not entirely sure they're in the same spot. I'm just going to leave them unjoined. I think it'll still be fine. And let's go ahead and keep looking for more things back there to track. What else could we do here? Let's do something like just from right here. I'm going to do this little dark and bright spot right here. Track forward. Control T, that's great. What else? What else do we got here? I like to select these guys so I can kind of concentrate on this little area. What else do we got? What else do we got? Let's just try. Let's try something up here. Let's just try like that and see what that does. If that'll do it. Might not. Might do it. It's a little jittery. It's a little bit jittery. We'll leave it. All right, Control L. We can always delete it later. LF. We may have enough now to go ahead and solve. I wonder if we should get some things up here, maybe, huh? These branches are kind of blowing in the wind a little bit, but I think I'd like to get some anyway. Perhaps those, like these things right here, look great. Scale that up a little bit. Just going to track those backwards a little bit. And they're not going to go far, but they'll give us some kind of marker up there, right? Let's see. Right, if we go back a few frames, kind of lose it right there. I'm just going to clear forward from there, and that looks pretty good. We've got that till it goes off frame. We can lock that down. And let's see if there's anything else we can get there for a few frames. Maybe these things here. Looks pretty good. Scale it up a bit. Make sure they're in there. Track backwards. And, oh, look at that. We almost made it the whole way. Huh? Yeah, we really did. Not too bad. Now, that's not the best track. You can see what's happening up here. This one kind of shoots off a little bit, and if you watch here, you can see it's kind of drifting around a little bit. But we'll go ahead and leave it for now, just because I think it'll be okay. Like I said, we can always, if it's causing a problem, we can delete it later and not worry about it and resolve or something. So I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to track, see this little road, and there's a tree. I'm going to track this tree right here, just to the end of shot. It's like the last quarter of the shot, maybe. But I think it'll just help us have another marker back there, something to track, and maybe one of these guys too. So let's lock that one, and I'm going to look at, maybe this one right here. It's pretty good. I'm going to track forward to the end, and it looks great. All right, so we've got a lot of tracks here. L, F. You got a lot of tracks. Everything is locked. I think we've got enough to solve. Some of them are a little funky, but let's give it a shot. I'm going to switch this to 3D view, and I'm going to go right over here to solve. Keyframe. Let's see here. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Maybe... this is always kind of a guessing game, right? I'm going to go from 40 to maybe 130. What do you say? Let's try it. 40, 130. And I'm just going to do K1. Let's do K2 as well. All right. Solve camera motion. Cross your fingers. Push the magic button. The magic is disastrous, and we have a total failure of 126. Why would we have that? I'm going to bet it's something to do with one of those crazy ones, right? That we solved, right? Some of them. Wow, look at these. Some of these solve errors are huge. All right, I'm going to delete this one here. X, delete that guy. And which is that one? That one too, huh? The only two I have up there. All right, let's delete that one too. X, delete. I feel like those are the two that are really killing us here. But let's do it. Let's just go to K1, solve camera motion. 117. What in the world's that all about? All right, let's just do a setup tracking scene, setback. Oh, it does the background already for you. Is it really that bad? It is that bad, huh? All right, let's try some different keyframes. Let's try 100 and solve camera. 20, better. Still a little jumpy and weird. Let's do 90. Do that. See what that does. 0.3. Now we're talking. All right. Now we're looking good. I'm looking up here in the 3D window here. Things are looking a lot better. Now we're in the ballpark. All right, so let's go ahead over to the default view and just check that track. All right, if we look through the camera and we go, if I turn off, not that one, just that, I guess, just so we can see some of these tracking markers better. I'm going to go sphere just so we can see them a little bit more. And yeah. So there they are. So interestingly, where's the ones in the background, right? They're not back there. I wonder where they are. Oh, this might have solved inverted, which would be a... No, they didn't. They're there, huh? Are they there? Yeah, these are the ones in the background, right? Let me do a 2-window setup, and we can do a camera view as well. So these guys, where are they at? Where is that? If I go N... and I go turn these way up, right? Z. Where are those ones at, right? This is the edge of the mountain, as it should be. These ones should be way in the back there. Oh, there it is. No, oh, it's the camera clipping. Duh. Turn that up to 10,000 maybe. Turn that down. Is that it maybe? Maybe. Maybe not. I think it is the camera clipping, but that's weird that it's not letting it do that. Camera, here it is. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boom. There we go. That's what I wanted to see, because 10,000 is usually plenty. So there we go. Now we can see all of our tracking markers out there. Everything's in the right spot. We've got some on the mountain. We've got some way in the background, and we've got a whole bunch on that trail. So, what are we running at here? We are 23 minutes. Let's go ahead and stop here, and the next video we'll talk about weighted, and we'll start rebuilding our geometry.